So with the return of Vince McMahon comes, it does make fantasy booking that much more difficult because let's face it, under Vince, we do not get the toys that we like to play with, as
Nice
history has
things.
proven. We do not get nice things with Vince. So whereas when we finished our AEW prediction, what happens next? The link to that is above. I would like to now put the floor over to you, and we're not going to go through the full Mania card because it is frankly too big to do it all now. But let's pick out a few key people and try and think what happens next for them. I'll get so let me get the ball rolling. Who do I think would be a good one to talk about? Actually, now we'll finish with him. Here's one. Let's go with Gunther, Drew, and Sheamus. What do we think is actually going to happen? I think specifically with Gunther.
I'm hoping that they stick to my original prediction. And you're so late in the hour now, you might as well make him be the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time. I'm hoping they're not stupid enough to throw away a ready-to-go main eventer, because by that alone, he'll be a main eventer. But then, again, he's a bad guy, a heel, and you've got a heel holding both the title belts. So how much does it even matter anymore?
Yeah, I mean, that match was another great match. I forgot to add, by the way, very hard hitting, very, very physical.
Damn right, it was hard hitting. It cost me the fucking title.
And it was good. But what I see coming out of this is they're gonna stupidly make Sheamus and Drew have another fight again, which is not gonna prove anything. Sheamus is literally winding down the last of his career now, pretty much like Edge. Give the man his flowers, let him win the Intercontinental title, and then you can plan whatever you want after that. Whether it's Drew that beats him for it afterwards. If you're gonna make them fight for the belt, but at least let Sheamus win the title first from Gunther and let him have his flowers. Even if you let Gunther win it back, just so that you could give Sheamus his flowers. That's what needs to happen. Instead, what I wanted to happen is for Sheamus to go on, not Sheamus, sorry, Gunther to go on to maybe Brock Lesnar. I don't see that happening now with Brock Lesnar turning heel. And that would have been very interesting because that's another person who hasn't held the Intercontinental title, Brock Lesnar. He's only held the main titles. So, that would have been very interesting, But with Vince in the way now, and this is the problem, we can look at any match and it's very hard to look forward on it because of the obvious elephant in the room.
But so this is kind of what I want to do for the purpose of this video. While considering that elephant in the room, what do you realistically? I'm not talking about what we want to happen because that shit, as I said at the top, we do not get nice things. That shit is gone. In the scope of having to book this with McMahon in charge, where do you see this Gunther guy going?
Well, I'm going to underline and exclamate what you said, Nico. I see Gunther losing that Intercontinental title, maybe lesser than 2 to 3 months. If that's the case, it's probably going to go to Sheamus, the Irish back in the Irish, with Drew being left in the dark. I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
I'm not going to add much to that because I think that's where it's going with McMahon. I think that's exactly where it's going. This scares the shit out of me. So let me touch on this one. KO and Sammy. What happens with them? Vince McMahon does not like tag team wrestling. People are saying that the Young Bucks should come and join WWE. Are you out of your fucking mind? No. If there is a great tag team somewhere in the world, do not go to WWE. I didn't say all wrestlers. Some wrestlers could fit well in the WWE system, even with McMahon. If you're a tag team, fuck no. Do not go near this promotion. And I think Vince, this is going to be the first really nasty fucking thing he does to us. I'm going to make a bold call here. Usos beat KO and Sammy at Backlash and take the titles back?
You know what? I do kind of see that happening, but then I also see the other end that Vince McMahon doesn't give the slightest shit about, the tag team division. So he might just actually forget about KO and Sammy and just let them hold it for a while. My problem is either way, that they're screwed because the tag teams that WWE has are so lackluster, and you built nobody up. There's nobody ready to face these guys, except for the Usos. So shit, maybe the logical thing is just put the tag team titles back on them, but then that would just invalidate all of WrestleMania Night One.
You know what? I can tell you exactly what's going to happen, right? Just to basically underline and escalate what both of you are saying. That's what because I was thinking, because Roman has still got his belt, he's obviously going to say something to the Usos because that's yet to be addressed until tomorrow on SmackDown. And it will probably be along the lines of, well, if you don't get your tag team titles back, then you're out of the Island of Relevancy, you're out of the bloodline. So it looks like it's going to be obviously set up for them to win it back. And knowing Vince, he'll probably have Sami Zayn be turned on again with Kevin Owens, and then they'll be feuding again. With Vince, it's like what The Rock said. He's basically given us the same Kung Pao chicken day in, day out, and it's just a constant repeat of it, which is insanity, basically.
Oh, yeah. So, be it they don't even make it onto TV anymore or lose very quickly.
No, KO and Sammy will be on TV, and I'm not sure about the length of the title reign, but that is a valid way. Either get the title back or you're out of the bloodline. But then, let's say they keep the titles now. Who is next? The Viking Raiders. If you want an example of a tag team they destroyed, War Machine was an excellent tag team in both New Japan and NXT, but then when they become the Viking Raiders, oh my gosh, we see what they are now. So,
well, in an interesting point to that, you know what? I don't know how to put this because I haven't seen Dynamite yet, but FTR are in a match where if they lose, they leave AEW. So if that's the case, I was thinking maybe WWE would sign them up so that they could come in and face Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. But I was thinking that whilst Triple H was in charge, not thinking so much that now, which means it's very difficult to determine what's going to happen with these tag titles and what's going to happen with the people involved themselves.
Okay, can I spoil that? Can I spoil the ending of Dynamite for you or not?
Nope, I'm going to watch it after we do this.
Okay. Well, Big Tone and I both know what happened with FTR on Dynamite.
Anyone coming in needs to go the other way now. Yeah, abandon the shit before you even get on it.
Yeah, literally that. Big Tone, I'll put you on for the next one where you think this is going. Who should I give you? Oh, this will be interesting. Poor little Asuka. What do you think's happening to her?
I think one or two things. Either they will actually do the logical thing and actually make Dark Asuka become dark and a heel, a badass, and crack up some wins. But I doubt that because we don't get nice things. So it's just the status quo of her just coming there, winning some matches, losing others, 50-50 booking for her, with her dialing up the stupidity and stereotypical Japanese stuff to 11. Yeah. Because Vince McMahon thinks that's good shit. Yeah.
That's some good shit right there, brother. Oh, yes, of course. We get 50-50 bookings again now. I forgot about that.
As for Bianca, man, damn. The problem that the tag titles face is the same problem she faces. Who is a credible person to come and fight her now for the title on Raw?
Ronda.
On Raw. Well, actually, if they move, but I feel like what they've done with Ronda and Shayna, they're the actually only two women that have a credible path now because they should rightfully take those tag titles of Becky and Lita. Yeah.
Even though Shayna didn't even wrestle. Did you catch that? She didn't even wrestle. She was there, but she didn't wrestle.
Hey, look, man, I can't even remember what happened in that match. I just know that they won. But
So
like,
all I know is that and Ronda was nursing her arm as well. Like she didn't do much either.
So what do you think's happening with Asuka, Leon?
Now, this is very interesting because I'm saying that Asuka's going to turn. I've been calling this from before the prediction show that she's going to turn heel and she's going to be dark. Whether Rhea Ripley has something to do with that, whether she's the person who recruits Asuka into the Judgment Day, could be an interesting angle. But again, this is Vince that we're talking about here. So where Triple H might come up with that pitch, Triple H would be like, nope, that's not good shit. And just literally, throw that in the trash. And at the same time, they're teasing. I don't know. It looks on Raw. It looked like they were teasing another unification of the women's title because Rhea Ripley came out to confront Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
Got two women there standing with two titles with the whole, I'll see you down the road kind of thing. Maybe, maybe not. So there was a lot of play there. And I feel that if Rhea doesn't beat her for the women's title, then she's definitely going to have something to do with either recruiting Asuka into the Judgment Day or being that person to help her change and see. I'm going to switch it and say she's going to help her to see the dark as opposed to seeing the light, and then obviously making that full heel turn. But eventually, I think Asuka will win that women's title, but like the Cody situation, we've only just seen the change of this new character, and I believe myself as well that needs to build before they give her the title. And at the same time, sometimes in these situations, and I believe this with the Fiend as well, a character can be so good, you don't need to really put a belt on them. They can still do their thing and not have a title belt.
Undertaker, prime example.
Yeah. So if that's the case, yeah, and Kane. So if that's the case, then make Asuka not win the title. Rhea helps her to change and go on to the Judgment Day or to turn dark, but Rhea goes on to face Bianca Belair instead and give her both the titles if they're going to do it that way. But that's the way I'd like to see it going. But I think it's going to be the latter of what happens, basically.
All right, let me bring the mothership back down to earth here. Vince McMahon has got a history of booking Asuka badly. Charlotte was ready for Asuka. Yes, let's destroy your NXT rep that you've spent years cultivating and make you look like a biatch. Asuka was the first woman to quote unquote platinum WWE in the sense that she won the Rumble, she won the Money in the Bank, she won all the titles, Raw and SmackDown, and the women's tag team. And who did they say actually did that first, even though it wasn't true? Bailey. Bullshit. And then what happened to her after after Becky gave her that title? Oh, she couldn't even get on fucking TV. And she was a Raw Women's Champion to the degree there's shows of us from last season or two ago where we're like, who's Raw Women's Champion again? Who is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck, it's Asuka, isn't it? Where's Asuka? And like, McMahon doesn't like Asuka. So I can stand here for days and book Asuka into fantastic matches because Asuka's freaking brilliant. But
I don't think Vince likes Japanese wrestlers as a whole.
No, he doesn't. He does not like
doing he's done the same thing to Shinsuke.
Look what he did to fucking Kenta. This is a Bullet Club member. What are you doing?
I forgot about that.
Bro, like this.
And Akira Tozawa as well.
Akira Tozawa, like it's a joke. He met him on Ninja because of social stereotype.
And you know what? Yeah, you could go back to fucking Tajiri, as a matter of fact. We don't even have to look at all of these recent ones. We go back and look at Funaki, Tajiri,
Taka Michinoku.
Thank you. I was going to say Michinoku Driver, but that's the fucking move. Yeah, exactly. Taka Michinoku. The history, the proof is in the pudding, as you said, Nico.
Asuka, I unfortunately believe, is going to have a series of 50-50 matches with, I don't know, Lacey Evans or Chelsea Green. and then you won't see her on TV for months, and then we'll be sitting here halfway through season 3. Subscribe if you haven't already to see if we're correct or not. And we're going to be like, where the fuck's Asuka? And we'll come flushing right back to season 2 finale and be like, oh yeah, McMahon doesn't like Asuka. So that's why I think Asuka is going right into catering, unfortunately.
Again.
I'm not going to go through each member of the Judgment Day, but I will say I think Judgment Day are about to become House of Beta again. I think they're about to become the Job Squad. I don't think Rhea's going to hold the title for long. I imagine that they'll put the title on Charlotte because, quote Den the Tech, McMahon loves his blondes. So they'll put the title on Charlotte. Rhea will become the proverbial loser because everyone's like, oh my God, Rhea won the title. Yeah, y'all forgot. Not you two, obviously, but y'all forgot. Rhea's been a champion already on the main roster. No one remembers it because it was dead because they didn't book her properly. So this isn't like, oh my God, Rhea's finally done it since NXT. No, she hasn't. This is her second title. You just don't remember the first one because it was so shit. So I reckon Dominic Mysterio, they're going to take all the fire out from underneath him. All of this great heel heat that he's got, that's gone. Remember, McMahon also does not like Finn Balor. We must not acknowledge that he was the first undisputed champion. Absolutely not. He's small. He may be Irish, but he's too small. And Damian Priest, who's that guy? He's a bit old, isn't he? He may be big, but he's too skinny and old. You can literally see the machinations of McMahon's mind when he looks at a great stable like Judgment Day. And the House of Beta shall make a glorious Bobby Roode style return and become the proverbial jobbers of Monday Night Raw yet again. That's my take on that. What do you all think will happen to Judgment Day?
This is what's fucked up, right? Vince is that fucked up, right? I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to turn Dominic to a favorite again, to a face, to a baby face. Do you know what I mean? Like it's, and the thing is, and then you'll see the deterioration of that character,
right?
Because when he was trying to be, like the second Mr. 619,
it was dry.
It was dry. As a matter of fact, it was getting. I'll tell you how bad it got. Right, it got to that point. Do you remember the Die Rocky Die like era? Right, it was literally getting to that. It was going to be Die Dominic Die, but they turned him heel, like The Rock, funny enough, and the rest is history, basically. And Vince is just that kind of person to hold that biscuit, the proverbial biscuit, in the tea for too long until it drops in and just spoils the whole shit. You can't drink it, you can't eat it, you can't do anything with it. The only thing you can do is just throw it away. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He's literally throwing away all of the hard work that all these wrestlers have done. And this is what frustrates me about this, is because of the fact that regardless of all of that, I'll tell you what it's like, yeah. It's like several people that do like 5 12-hour shifts in the day. They get paid minimum wage, but the boss is driving a Lamborghini. That's exactly what Vince is doing right now. He's driving in the Lamborghini whilst everyone else is just being there, having to like lick their wounds, heal their wounds, and then preferably have their moral knocked, have their confidence knocked, and then eventually get fired. So he's dealing with the mental. He's fucking with the mental as well.
Oh yeah,
this is serious, man. He needs to get the fuck out. I can't say it enough.
It is serious. Big Tone, do you think we're going to see a return of the House of Beta, or do you think there's hope for Judgment Day?
I think possibly. I mean, again, I'm on the fence with this because Rhea, you had such a build, but that was under Triple H, so I don't know what they're gonna do with her. But Charlotte is apparently on hiatus, so Rhea will have the belt for a while. I think they are actually probably trying to build into, like maybe at SummerSlam, champion versus champion in a unification match, or something like that. And then it wouldn't surprise me if they finally do bring a mid-card women's title, as I sort of called it, I should, a while ago. Yeah,
which won't get on TV.
Yeah, it won't get on TV. As far as the immediate future, obviously Dominic is going to be the tag team match with him and Damian versus Rey Mysterio and Bad Bunny at Backlash in Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's a good little rub for him. But as far as Dominic's future goes, if Maybe they might lead into it, but what I'm thinking is gonna happen is comedy jobber from now on. In it, yeah, he will be the person to come out there, chat a lot of crap, and then someone comes out and beats him up. That will be his role.
He will be the new Miz. There will be no more major WrestleMania moments for Mr. Mysterio. Either of them, actually, I would say. So I can believe that. All right. Two more I want to cover. One of them is going to take a while. If it's okay with you both, I'd like to start with this one. Roman and Cody. We're going to cover both of these guys. So I'm going to be really quick on Cody, and I'm not saying this tongue in cheek. I legitimately mean this. I reckon Cody's either going to be gone or you're going to see Stardust back in the coming months. And I mean that. I legitimately mean that. I do not prescribe to this whole they're going to build Cody again and we're going to get Rocky 2, even though that's the dream booking. We do not get nice things with Mr. McMahon, as history has shown. I reckon he's going to be forced back into doing Stardust gimmick just to really put that salt in the wound to the AEW guys. Now, with Roman, I had, prior to McMahon coming back, I had this little thing in the back of my mind, which I'd like to run past you both. This isn't going to happen now. But there was this little thing in the back of my mind when we were going into Mania. I was like, if Roman wins, they have the opportunity to do something truly legendary with him. Fuck this 1,000 day thing. Fuck it. It's big numbers are big. So what? Let's go real big. Let's do this shit properly. Let's get Roman Reigns to hold that title until he retires. Make him the GOAT. You have built for 3 years now a superstar who we are all going to remember forever. The man them here will be talking about Roman Reigns when we're in our 70s going, you remember that guy, Roman? He was pretty good, wasn't he? We're all going to be talking about him forever. He is cemented now as a legend, even though he's still wrestling. They have the opportunity to make him bigger than Piper in Portland, bigger than Brett in Canada. They really do. If they really want to double down on Roman, the needle mover, the tribal chief, Mr. Big fucking money, $1 billion profit for the last 3 years when he's been at the top. Fuck 1,000 days, 3,000, 4,000. Make this guy untouchable to the degree that seeing a Roman match just becomes a matter of predictability, but it's always a spectacle because they're going to build storylines in a way where you think it's been so long now. Surely, but no, it never happens. Roman ends his career 3,000, 4,000, however long it is days in charge, the longest reign of all time, even beating Bruno Sammartino's first reign, even beating the reign that was longer than that. Who was it? Beat all the reigns, make him the unabashed statistical GOAT ever of professional wrestling. And they have the opportunity to do that. That was my dream booking. If you're going to make Cody lose, double down on Roman because he is loved. Whether you were supporting Cody or Roman is irrelevant. Even people like myself who were supporting Cody were still like, I'm supporting Cody, but Roman Reigns is fucking awesome. Double down on this shit. Make him bigger than Flair, bigger than Hogan, bigger than Cena and The Rock. Make him the GOAT of professional wrestling. Beyond question, held title for 7,000 days, 10 years title reign, something. Fucking do it. Make it like something that will echo for eternity. Long after the Ministry of Wrestling are all dead, people will still be talking about the greatest of all time, Roman Reigns. They're not going to do that. But that was my pitch. What I think, it's good, isn't it? Like you could really do so. We could, gentlemen, be watching history in the fucking making. Because we weren't alive when Flair was creating the modern wrestling game. We were kids, you know. Imagine we were the age we are now enjoying the Attitude Era. It would have been even better, right? We were kids consuming that shit. As adults, we would have got off on it even more because we would have got the subtleties of what the artists were doing. But we are, as adults now, living in an age where Roman Reigns, it won't happen, could become the greatest wrestler of all time. Now, I would never in my lifetime that was going to happen. You know, we talk about the greats of yesteryears, your Macho Mans and your Flairs. your Rocks and all that, but to be living in a time where we are seeing right before us the making of the greatest wrestler ever and living that and experiencing that. Fuck it. I'll take a Cody loss if that's what they're doing, because that's special. But I don't think that's what they're doing. Now, the one thing I'll defend WWE on, because the one soundbite I've heard is them saying there's no one left for Roman. Biggest pile of bullshit I have ever heard. But, well, who would you give Roman then to be a real challenger? Okay, Sheamus. Sheamus and Roman could fight, and that would be a hell of a match. They teased a year ago Shinsuke Nakamura and Roman. Fuck it. There's no one else for him to challenge, right? Bring Nakamura back onto TV. I'm not expecting him to win, but have him have, like a Cesaro fight. Have him have one fight with Roman. When Gunther loses the IC title, push him to fight Roman for a few matches. LA Knight, give him a few rounds with Roman. Fucking Bobby Lashley, give him a few rounds with Roman. Do a best of 3 with Bobby Lashley. Why not? There's
Austin Theory.
See, now you're beating me to my punchline. Because what I think is going to happen with Roman, they're going to get to that 1,000 day mark, and then you're going to have Austin Theory, who will not be US champion anymore, and you will hit A-Town down, and Austin Theory actually will be the one who beats Roman Reigns. Mr. McMahon is back. This is his prodigy. He's going to have Austin Theory beat Roman Reigns. That's my big prediction.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were that far with it. What?
Oh, no. I genuinely believe Theory will beat Roman Reigns. Because if it was not Vince McMahon in charge, I wouldn't say this. McMahon is going to make this happen. How painful would it be that not only do we have the potential to have had this, this epic fantasy reign that I'm booking now of 7,000 days or whatever it is. Let's bring it back down to earth. We're going to get to number 1,000. All this great story with the bloodline that we've had for 3.5 years. What would be the worst, most boring way they could pay it off? Give it to Mr. Guaranteed 3-star, never more, never less, fucking steady Eddie, 6.5 mediocre out of 10. He's never going to tear the roof off. He's got his generic intro music, which I still like, Big Tone. He's got a generic finisher. He looks like literally as if Mr. McMahon ejaculated onto a wall. It's like, you're about 6'3" and you got big muscles and you're really greasy and you like to wear baby oil, brother. Austin Theory is literally Mr. McMahon's fantasy come alive. I cannot see anyone else than Theory beating Roman for the title. And you know what? It fits, because that would piss people off, because no one's on board with Theory. And it's not like with Dominic, where he's got mega heel heat and it would be like, oh shit, or like Gunther. When he came out, he didn't even really get booed. Again, I don't know what they were pumping onto TV, but in the stadium, it was like, meh. No one gives a fuck, because he is the steady Eddie 6.5 out of 10 guy. So what a perfect way for McMahon to continue going, fuck you all. Your brilliant Roman Reigns that I've created, I'm going to destroy him because I can, because I'm Mr. fucking McMahon, and I'm going to put the belt on the guy that I'm telling you is the future, even though none of you can see it. Fuck you all. Theory is the new champion. You can see this shit happening. Discuss.
Okay, well, as far as the Roman holding the title for years, I feel that this year 4, well, actually, they haven't passed year 3, but after the past year 3 will be year 4. Yeah, I feel like they're running the risk of doing what's happening to the superhero movies now. Yeah, we've had too much, too fast, and it's been saturated, and people are starting to lose interest a bit. They're starting to think, oh, I still like this, but I will see it when I see it. Yeah. So I feel that you make Roman, you pass his 1,000-day mark, you pass his 3-year mark, so you have that stat. Yeah. And then at the very least, you got to make him lose one of the titles. Now, for me personally, I don't think there's a need for him to have both. You could actually really do the whole years thing if he was just a universal champion, yeah, for years and years, and someone else was walking around with the WWE title. But holding both, how much stock has Roman got? I don't know. There is a lot of specialty things that I was telling you about, Nico, what he could do. Like, for instance, with this merger with Endeavor, We could see UFC guys come in
Oh yeah.
and that be special attractions. Conor versus Roman, for example. You could even have Tyson Fury for the world of boxing coming there and face Roman for the title. There's a lot of specialty big matches, and then sprinkled within them, there is the little nuggets of people he hasn't faced or people he hasn't faced in a long time. I feel they can still try and squeeze some juice out of KO and Sammy in it, yeah, with Roman, rack up another win, an incremental one, have him fight Drew again, just do the rounds and all that. I still do think, I haven't lost faith yet that Cody will be the one to dethrone him, yeah, because I just think that's a good moment. Whether that happens this year at SummerSlam, whether it happens next year at WrestleMania, that's the only real question. As far as Cody, yeah, I feel he does go. He has his feud with Brock. Whether he wins or not is unsure. But I feel this is Cody's rise. And Cody will, we mentioned Austin Theory. I think Cody will actually dethrone Austin Theory of that US title and be the United States champion for a good chunk of this year, because what we're doing is we're passing time until WrestleMania season where we can circle back to Cody versus Roman. Yeah. Now that is or me being very optimistic on what's happening.
I was gonna say, what about the Royal Rumble winner?
Huh? Well, hey, that could be Cody. We think that what I think would happen if Cody generally is going to take the title, Cody will come in at the Royal Rumble again, but he'll come in at number 1 this time, and he'll go all the way through.
Yeah, you are positive, aren't you? Wow.
Hey, look. I feel like this was one of the problems with this year why they wouldn't do it. Is because he come out at number 30 and then straight into the WrestleMania main event. Yeah, again, it does kind of seem like, all right, we're just putting a rocket strap and just shooting him to the moon, isn't it? So, but like I said, if you make him have this year, you make him have feuds with Brock, make him have feuds with the Judgment Day, make him have feuds with Lashley, make him wants to become the US champion, make him win the Royal Rumble. Cody's had a great year and he's back and he's ready to face Roman properly, and this time beats him. I'm hoping that's going to be the case. It's probably going to be some fuckery, but you know what? Out of the three of us, one of us can try to be positive in it. Yeah.
I mean, brother, I admire your mind for this. I admire it. Leon, how about you, mate? Oh, carry on.
No. I'm done. No, I'm just saying that at least some of that will happen.
Yeah. Stardust and then Theory beats Roman.
I mean, I think along the lines of what Big Tone was saying, these, and even yourself, Nico, these things could be possible, but only if maybe the titles would be split. Yeah. Another way that your angle would work is Roman holds those belts for so long that it forces the company to come out with another belt, because I heard that they're designing a world heavyweight championship again because of the fact that the universal title is disliked amongst some bodies in the offices. So that's a possibility, but realistically, because both of you put very good points out there, and I there's nothing I can put on that, to be fair. The only thing I can add is the fact that Roman holds on to the title. I'm hoping that this knockback for Cody was just a knockback, because one point you were making, Nico, about the American fans not being as loud as we suspected them to be. Right. So between now and next year, they're going to be touring around a lot of places. So in those places, like the UK, here comes Money in the Bank. Who do you get?
They ain't getting tickets to the UK. UK fans are going to beat them to that shit.
Who do you get to win Money in the Bank? Cody Rhodes. Now he has a massive following. Well, he already does. But now he's got a massive support system in the UK as well. To have Cody win Money in the Bank in the UK at the O2 and show American fans how you get behind a wrestler is one thing. Then you can have Cody hold that Money in the Bank until WrestleMania, and whether Roman fights The Rock, whether he has another opponent for WrestleMania, what I can see happening is Roman having that match with said wrestler, and then Cody cashing in.
Yeah, that's
Um,
actually
because if
very
we're
good
gonna
shout.
be if we're gonna be realistic about it, the only way I see Cody getting that belt, all right, so maybe he won't beat him 1-on-1. So the only way he can do it, they did it with Dolph Ziggler, they did it with The Miz, is for him to cash it in whilst the match is going on or at the end of said match. And the good thing about that Money in the Bank briefcase is that he can hold it for a year, so he can literally hold it until like backlash next, like the next backlash next year. Or obviously it would make more sense for him to cash it in at WrestleMania, because it also builds another platform of people wanted The Rock versus Roman Reigns. You can get that, and then straight after that, you can get Cody versus Roman Reigns.
yeah.
Straight after it with the Money in the Bank cash in. You know, if you want to give people something to remember, that is something to remember right there and then. But
Oh,
and in the
I
build
love
and
it,
in
mate. I love it.
and
I
in the
just wish I
and
believed it.
in the build up to that, as Big Tone was saying, let Roman do the rounds, make him beat, you know, your Jinders and your KO and your Sammys and whoever else, Edge, whoever, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, make him go through the rounds and beat all of them. And then obviously it comes with Cody teasing. Like you hear every minute, you hear his music pop out, making Roman Reigns think and so forth. But that actually doesn't happen until it gets to WrestleMania. That's one thing that could happen. If we're in terms of realistically speaking, I know it's a bit of fantasy booking on my part
That's what
in
the show
some
is,
ways,
brother. Fantasy book away.
but at the end of the day, like it's very plausible. It's very plausible. And again, it follows suit to past Money in the Bank holders that didn't look like that they were going to ever win a championship without having the Money in the Bank briefcase, and they went on to become the WWE All World Heavyweight Champion. Dolph Ziggler, The Miz, it's happened. Liv Morgan, like it's happened. Those cash-ins are for people who don't seem to be able to win the match 1, 2, 3 in a normal match. So that's their last option of getting the title, and that's what's going to happen to Cody. We're probably going to have to wait another year for it, but at the end of the day, Cody can hold that briefcase and showcase it for the next year, just giving people that anticipation of where and when and how is it going to happen.
I can see the
love it,
merchandise right now. Yeah, you
Mm.
can see the American Nightmare briefcase, can't you?
Of course.
Yeah.
Dazzled out, yeah, just ready to go.
Yeah. With that Transformer looking like logo on the briefcase. Yeah. I mean, obviously,
it's a good shout.
everybody's personalized their briefcase at some point, you know. So you know, that would be perfect for him to personalize it. He likes coming out in his suits, so already it matches
American
the
Sting.
There you go. Like, you know, that's the perfect thing. As a matter of fact, I'll probably even call it from now that Cody is probably going to win the Money in the Bank. Because if you want to look at anything else, whether it's bad booking or not, it's going to frustrate Cody at some point. Like, he's wanted that title so bad. Like, you know, the only road to win the world title. If it's going to get to desperation,
88,000 fans on Sunday. Believe
if
me.
it's going to get to desperation, he's going to end up in that match and winning it. That's what happened with the Big Show. That's what happened with Edge. That's what happened with the Miz. That happened with RVD. You can look at some of the past winners and see for every wrestler who's been fed up of the system, they've gone on to win the Money in the Bank, and eventually they've gone and they've cashed in. Hopefully, Vince won't do some fucked up shit like letting him trying to cash it in at the same day and losing the shit.
I bet he does that too.
But that's exactly what I think Vince is going to do.
If they ever do that, then I will 100% agree with you, Nico. They are burying and they don't give there's not a single plan for Cody if they do that.
Yeah.
I actually, I think that's exactly
Yeah.
They're going to have Cody win Money in the Bank in front of the UK fans cheering, and then they're going to give us a Brock Lesnar
And I
style
and I,
burn
and I don't
again.
mean and I don't
Oh,
mean by
dear.
like, you know, a really starry effort. Like, I mean he's
Mm-mm.
going to get the shit beat out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the proverbial 1-2 with the lift his head up. Like, I'm not finished with him yet. Beat the shit out of him some more, bust him open to the point where the referee's gonna have to just stop the match, or it'll just be like, for God's sake, just end the match. And then 1, 2, 3, and then done. And then he'll proceed to get his ass beat after the match as well.
I think it
Oh,
was better
goodness.
than you.
Why can I see that happening so very clearly in my head? Fucking Mania ruined it for me, guys. I've seen this shit happen in front of my face now. This
Yeah.
shit's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, man,
Oh,
can you
Yeah.
imagine what it was like
look. That's
Listen, they
we
made
we
John Cena cash in the Money in the Bank, and what happened, boys?
brother.
John
Listen,
Cena, yeah.
this
So
is the chaos that Mr. McMahon brings to wrestling. We could literally fantasy book this shit for hours.